Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about lenses.
I tell you to slow it down. I can take you around the town. We can live a little. We can live a little.
And specifically lenses for the micro four thirds format. I'm currently heading out of my aunt's place. I'm heading over to San Diego with my uncle for the next couple days. Got my drone and a couple other cameras obviously packed away with my laptop so I can edit on the go. Let's head out. I gotta get on the road so I can beat LA traffic. Don't want to get caught up in that, but more about lenses when I get over to my uncle's.
As a sign, should I roll now?
Alright guys, I got into my uncle's last night, so that transition was kind of a lie. I went to a school and then we went to see one of his friends, so I didn't get time to film anything about lenses. So we're heading off to San Diego today still, like I said, but we're still going to talk about lenses on the way there. Let's hit the road. Little Mike, you got something in your nose there.
You want a Skittle?
Don't do it. No, don't. Oh. Like, is everything in here?
Oh, you're 100% in. Do you care about the wind, your hair, any of that?
No.
You want to lift up that little spot of hair in the front? That's kind of weird.
All right, everyone, we have officially made it to Coronado, San Diego. We're staying back at the Gas Lamp District near downtown tonight, but I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the lenses I use for vlogging, specifically what I use for my Panasonic GH5 and the micro four thirds format. This might not work for everyone, I acknowledge, because I'm more into a cinematic style vlog, and autofocus is something that's really important to people, and with this lens setup I'm about to talk about, it's not really super achievable. So if that's what you're looking for, you might want to click away from the video. If you're just kind of interested in what I'm using for my videos, if you want to, get a kind of behind the scenes look of all the lenses, which one of them obviously I'm going to talk about first is the one that's recording this, which obviously I can't have in my hand right now, but is the Sigma 18-35 1.8. And I guess before I get into the lenses, I also want to talk about the speed booster that is adapting the lenses to my camera. So the Panasonic GH5 is a micro four thirds sensor, and you have to have the metabones or some type of adapter that can adapt the Canon lenses, because I like the Canon lenses, they're good optical quality, and when you use the speed booster, it gives the lenses an additional one stop of light and makes them a little bit sharper. So that's why I have the speed booster adapter. It basically lets me take these Canon glass lenses and adapt them onto my Panasonic camera. It does create a little vignetting. I have the 0.64 speed booster. I should have the 0.71. If you have the GH5 and you're looking at a speed booster, get the 0.71, because then you won't have to worry about any of the vignetting. It won't be quite as wide and you won't gain as much light, but you won't have to worry about the vignetting, and sometimes it is kind of annoying because you have to crop in when you're editing. To kind of backtrack the couple points I made, this is a native micro four thirds lens, so you can use autofocus, and while there have been some issues with the Panasonic GH5 and the autofocus, this lens right here is a 7-14 Olympus 2.8 lens. So this lens is good for wide angle vlogging on the GH5 if you do want the autofocus and all that to work. So I'd recommend this lens for vloggers. There's also the Panasonic 7-14, but it's only an f4, so it doesn't let in quite as much light. So I recommend this if you're looking for autofocus. This is my friend Max's. All credit to him. I'll put his link in the description. He makes cool vlogs. Anyways, back to the lenses that I mainly use. I have three specific lenses that I use in my kit. So I have the Tokina 11-16 2.8. And this is what I use for most of the run and gun vlog stuff, the super wide angle. And there's a little bit of zoom range, it's 11-16, but I mean, you don't get much range, it's super wide. This is good for, like I said, capturing yourself while you're walking. You really give the viewers that immersive point of view, but not super good for everything, because there is a point where it gets too wide. And if you film everything too wide, you don't get very much depth in what you're shooting. So obviously, this is, actually before I get to this lens, I'm gonna go from widest to longest focal length that I have. So the next lens in that list is the Sigma 18-35, which is on this camera, which I kind of talked about. And this lens is good for, an all-around, somewhat portrait, because it is a 18-35 1.8, and it's a super sharp lens. I recommend it highly. It's one of my favorite lenses. It's a 1.8, but with the speed booster, it goes down to 1.1, so in low light, this lens is phenomenal. And that's the thing I like about all these lenses. None of the lenses I have are slower than a 2.8, which on the speed booster, these 2.8s go down to a 1.8. So that's really where the speed booster makes a lot of ground. And you can really, you know, like even with this 70-200 lens, you can shoot, obviously not at night, but you can get some pretty good low light shots. Anyways, I'm kind of straying away from my points. I get super into it. So the Sigma 18-35 is one of the sharpest lenses you can buy. And, you know, paired with the GH5 with 4K 60 and 180, it's a really, really great lens, and I recommend it. Like I kind of said though, you're kind of stuck to manual focus with all these Canon lenses adapted to the GH5, but I don't really mind that much because I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty good at manually focusing. But so that's kind of my mid-range zoom. And I'm looking into getting another Canon like super wide to telephoto that I can just kind of carry around, because it does get kind of cumbersome, and that's one of the things about all these lenses. You do have to swap them out quite a bit, so you get a little better quality, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to swap them out. So that's just kind of a forewarning, you know, if you're thinking about getting some of these. And all the links to these will be in the description if you want to check them out. And if you use the Amazon link, it helps kick back a little to me. So the last lens, one of my favorite lenses, is the Canon 70-200 2.8. Like I said, goes down to a 1.8 on the speed booster. I feel like I should maybe make another video kind of explaining, you know, aperture and all the super basics, because I don't want to dumb it down, because I know a lot of people that watch my stuff already know a lot, but there's probably also some beginners that are like, what numbers are you throwing around? So I should probably make another video kind of explaining the basics. So if you have any questions, you know, just comment down below. I usually answer most of them. But this is the last lens I'm going to talk about. It's the 70-200 Canon 2.8, and this is a beast, super sharp. That's what I like about all my lenses, is they're super, super sharp all the way through their focal lengths. So this 70-200, you know, lets me isolate the background, especially at 1.8. And 70 is obviously not decently wide, but you still get quite a bit of zoom range with 200. It's always good when you're filming to switch up focal lengths to give people different perceptions of footage. When you zoom in with this telephoto lens and then you go back out to super wide, it's a really cool effect, you know, when you're switching between different shots that have different focal lengths. That's why I use different focal lengths all the time. But again, like I said, you gotta do all manually focusing, because there's no autofocus. I mean, you can autofocus, but the continuous autofocus when using the speed booster with these lenses isn't super great, and it's kind of clicky. That's what I'm hoping eventually in the future, Metabones will come out with a new adapter that will let autofocus be transferred a lot better than it is now. It's really great for isolating the background, and so is the Sigma lens as well. Pretty good build quality. So these are the three main lenses that I use on my camera. I get a lot of questions, you know, like what lenses you use, what's your camera setup. Mostly walking around, you know, I have the 11-16 to film myself, and then if I'm not filming myself, I kind of already talked, I put on the Sigma, because that's a lot more cinematic looking lens, because you can go down to 1.1 and blur the background out really nice. And that's why these are my top three lenses that I use with my setup. I have a couple others, but these are the main three for everyone who asked. I hope you found this kind of informational. If you want me to do more videos like this where I kind of talk about the tech behind what goes into making my short vlogs, I kind of incorporated this into a vlog, so hopefully you kind of enjoyed it. See you guys tomorrow. We're gonna be, I think we're just gonna be out here on the beach, maybe going and kayaking. Should be fun. As always, every day counts. Peace, bye. Peace, peace.